Alright, so when we left off, I was about to head up to the keep. Now before I left, the innkeeper, he's like, hey, don't get into any trouble now. And I actually said, I look him into the eye and say, I fucking promise. Alright, so after that, I just head on out, take a short walk up a really wintry-ass hill. Well, it was more like a mountain. A wintry-ass mountain, blizzardy-ass even. Many adjectives followed by ass could be used to describe that mountain. So I went up there, guards are just like, the fuck are you? And then I showed them the pendant and they're just like, yeah, come on in. So I got inside and I explained, okay, that the dude who hired me to go up there had pretty much conscripted me in his place to join the order of whatever those guys are. And I had the chance to walk away, right? Or stay and complete some really dangerous ass shit. Which my character was looking for something slightly less dangerous, as he was like looking to retire with, you know, whatever he got there. Because he was told that all he needed to do was go up, give that pendant to somebody, and leave. So, he's like, I really hope I'm getting paid well for this. And they come up, and they say, okay, here's this rock, right? It's got a rune on it. It's a special, weird, shiny rock. My voice breaks sometimes when I'm trying to talk quietly and loudly at the same time. So the rock in question, they said, was worth about 400 platinum, which is oodles of money, and you could retire like nothing. So he's like, fuck yeah, I'll do it. So then he meets the leader of the whole keep guard. I'm not sure they had a name, but I don't know the name. I'll just call him the Winter Guard because it's wintry up in that fucking mountain place. Okay, the Winter Guard leader. I'll just call him Steve. He had a lot better of a name than that, but I'm going to call him Steve because I don't have a better name for him at this moment. I can't really remember it at all. He's like, hey, how's it going? He's like really tall, like taller than my character even, and he's supposed to be like a really big guy. Really muscular, impossibly chiseled looking. DM even described like, and he smells like rain for some reason. I'm like, okay, whatever. He's like, how's it going? It's good to meet you. Bye. And I'm like, okay, that's one character intro down, I guess. Guess he's gonna be something later, probably. Yeah. So I take a mission from those guys to head on down to the lowlands. See, the highlands are the mountains, right? Where the Winter Guard are, right? The Winter Guard guards the town that is the mountains. The lowlands are seriously bad shit. Like, seriously bad shit. Like, everybody in the lowlands is an impossibly bad asshole. Like, the lowlands is chaotic evil town. You know what I mean? But I need to go to the area next to the lowlands to scout and see if I see anything, because some people got missing down there, right? So I do. I head on down there, trying really hard not to find any more wolves. So they gave me, I don't know, an upgraded sword, I guess. I think it was a +1 sword. And I'm like, okay, this is amazing. I like +1 swords. Plus weapons are amazing. I like them. They're great. I love them to death. So I'm heading down there, right? and I'm just on this straight road that leads to this site that I'm looking for. It was like a Stonehenge kind of place, and I see this dude coming towards me, and then it turns out that this dude is Boomin's player character, who had just barely escaped from the lowlands because he was like a pit fighter or some shit. He was a gladiator that one-handed a two-handed sword. I forget what those are called. Great sword. He one-handed a great sword, and he didn't have anything in his left hand because Tryndamere, I guess. And he's like, "Hi," and I'm like, "Hi." He's like, "What are you doing down here?" I say, "Nothing. What are you doing down here?" He said, "Nothing." We were a little bit new to this whole RP dealio, so that's about how our conversations went. So I convinced him to follow me so that he can also get all conscripted, because I figured that would probably get me in good with them, conscripting other guys. So we're going down, having a gay old time, as in happy. We're not fucking each other. So we get to the Stonehenge place, right? I got a text. For some reason, my character had climb, like 4 points in climb. Don't ask me why. And he was like, "Okay, there's nothing really cool around the Stonehenge thing. Maybe if I get on top of the Stonehenge thing and start looking around, I could see something." Right? So I get on top of that, and I get the fuck out of that roll, apparently. Like, I rolled a like a critical success on a skill challenge, so I apparently just, like, fucking Hulk jumped on top of a Stonehenge. And I'm just like, "Yeah, that was awesome, what do I see?" And the DM's just like, "Nothing." I'm like, "You sure? Like, nothing like in the distance or something?" Just like, "Yeah, like you see a town right near the lowlands." I was like, "Okay." And he's like, "Do you want to go to it?" I'm just like, "No, I don't want to go to the lowlands. I don't want to go to the lowlands. The way those guys described it, it was some pretty bad shit." He's like, "Okay." So I jumped down, hurt myself jumping down, and then limped my ass backward, right, to say, "Hey, there was nothing down at the Stonehenge place." And then I see a cave that is just, it's not a cave yet. It's like a tunnel of trees. There's like a bunch of dead or knocked over trees that make like a tunnel through a really dense forest, right? And so me and Boomin, fuck it, he's David. Me and David are just like, "Should we go in there?" David's just like, "Yeah, we should go in there." I'm just like, "I don't know if we should go in there." And he's just like, "Yeah, we should totally go in there." And I'm just like, the dude said that we should, if we run into anything that looks kind of dangerous, to like not run into it. By the way, the dude said, Steve said, that if we run into anything dangerous, not to go into it, to go up and get some of his personal guard and come down, right? But instead, Boomin, David, is just like, "Let's do it." I'm just like, "Alright, let's do it." So we head on up to the goddamn cave that is making really spooky ass noises, right? And so we get to the mouth of the cave, and we see two really spooky looking dudes in like red robes with runes on them, and one of them takes a bag from the other one and then just ties it to his little sash thing, and the one that just gave him the bag walks into the cave and doesn't come out, right? Then we're like, let's fuck this dude up, because he's obviously evil as balls. let's try and say hi, and then use that to start off a good old-fashioned combat. So I go up and say hi. Then he turns around, draws a sword, and comes at us. And then starts shooting a fireball at us, right? And me and David are just like, let's hide behind those trees. So we hide behind the trees, right? The dude's shooting fireballs, and then he loses us, so he starts walking around, looking around for us. And then we run out, bum rush him, surprise him. I grapple him because I had a really, really high grapple. Like, even higher than David. Which David's fucking class had like a grapple chance, I think. Like, grapple chance upgrade. And I grappled him. David stabbed him. David cut him in half. And then I grappled him again. And then I stabbed him. And then David cut him in half. It was a curb stomp battle, pretty much. So we take the sword. So we open up the bag, and inside are a book, another pendant of the fucking Mountain Order guys, the Highland Men pendant, right? And then another one of those rocks that I had, the really, really expensive rocks. So I'm thinking, shit, there's a bunch of these. Gotta catch them all, right? They'll probably pay me for the information that is in this book, and also the little pendant thing, and also the little rock thing. So I'm just like, alright, job's done. And fucking the cave keeps making noises, right? And fucking David, he's just like, let's go in the cave. I'm just like, fucking yeah, let's see what's in the cave. I was in fucking combat mode, I got this mode, you know what I mean? And so we take a few steps towards the cave, and then out comes 2 ghouls and a ghast. So we fight them, and we don't get bitten somehow. Because if we got bitten, we would have been fucked. I'm not sure how they are in actual D&D, but the DM actually said if you would have been bitten, you would have been infected with some serious shit. Then, instead of heading back in, right, David's still just like, let's go in the cave, let's go through the cave. I'm just like, I don't know about the... Yeah, fuck it. So we go in there, fight 2 more ghouls, and then it's just emptiness. Like, there aren't any more dudes, there aren't any more ghouls, there aren't any more cultist dudes. Like, it's just completely silent. And I'm using the little rock thing because it glows in the dark. And I'm just going through, right? And then we find this big ass expanse, right? It's just a big room. Just imagine like a cave system that turns a little bit, right? It's just a big ass square ass room. We could tell it was square even though we couldn't see the ends, right? And it was just lined with pillars, like perfectly masoned pillars. And it was at that point that I finally came to my senses and said, no, fuck this, and then turned around and walked away. And since I had the glow-in-the-dark stone, David had to follow me. So we just headed up to the Highlands, and we talked to Abigail, right? We borrowed one of her pairs of boots because David was barefoot, right? And then we went over and talked to the barkeep, and we told him the situation about how there was just a bunch of ghouls, right? We were attacked by a bunch of ghouls and we fought them all off, and it was amazing because we were amazing. And the bartender looks my character in the eyes and he says, I thought you promised not to get into any trouble. I'm just like, ew, about that. So we just head on back up to the keep, and David's having a good time because he's wearing those shoes. And we tell him about the shit that we found. He says, "Okay, this pendant means you were on the right track. This book is super not good. We'll have somebody take a look at this." And then I'm just like, "Okay, what about this sword?" And he's just like, "That is enchanted. I am glad you didn't poke yourself with it because it would turn you into a ghoul." And I'm just like, "Alright, good stuff." And he gives us a new mission. He's just like, "Alright, your jobs, if you choose to accept them, which we obviously would, otherwise the campaign would end. Your jobs, if you choose to accept them, is to lead 2 of my personal guard," because he was kind of short-staffed at the time, "2 of my personal guard down to the cave and have them check it." You know what I mean? Simple tasks, right? I'm just like, yeah, simple task, super simple, just like, hey, no, it's just gonna be walking down there, and then walking back, and there's gonna be no ghouls, that's what you said. And then he's just like, "I thought I told you if you found any trouble to come back here." And I'm just like, "Right, okay, we'll just head on out then." And so we did. And that part, that next mission, is for next time. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching.